Most channels on YouTube would make you sit through a 14-minute video before doing a big reveal at the end and showing you what you wanted to see. But no. You want to see the new cockpit? It's so good. It is so good. This is what we call ground power. So it's actually just plugged into a socket over there. Just means that I can run all the electrics off the mains power and not drain the batteries because the engine's not turning. First of all, on the left hand side, here's one of the two G500 TXIs, which has been configured as a PFD, or a primary flight display. Airspeed on the left, altitude on the right hand side, my HSI and some navigation data down here. Now the databases are expired, but I'm actually going to update those in a second. I'll show you how I do that. And on the PFD, I've got this split screen option. Now I can do one of two things. I can go basically pull up a map. I'm inside the hangar right now, so there's no GPS signals, but I've got the map that I can pull up here on the right hand side, or I can cycle through any of these other pages and pull them up here. So if I want my traffic display, terrain display, charts, again they're not loaded at the moment, storm scope, engine page, all of that could go on the right hand panel. But the thing that I really like is that if you click on the full button, you can actually get that display that goes across the full width of the screen, and you just boot the little MFD button again and it goes back to 2 panels. And then over on the other side next to it is what we've set up as the MFD, or the multi-function display. Now this has a permanent engine strip, which I love. This will always be here no matter what I put on the right hand side. So if I just continue, I can then also do the same thing. I can pull up a big map page, and I've got the same screens on here as well. So I've got some good redundancy. There's my traffic screen, terrain, charts when I've got them loaded, the storm scope, the engine page if I want to go into things like leaning the aircraft during the cruise, that kind of thing. But then the ultra cool thing about that MFD screen is not only can I have the engine strip and another panel, I can have the engine strip, another panel, and another panel. So if you want to go really mental, you could put your map on there, you could put your traffic information on there, and maybe some charts on there. I know, right? Just ignore this for the moment, we'll come back to that. Now, as well as the two screens here, the two G500 TXIs, we've also got this. Now, don't be put off by the itty bitty size of this little standby instrument. This thing is so powerful, and it's a real luxury to have this in my aircraft. This is the is it 275i or GI 275? I'll put what it is just here. This standby instrument packs a real punch. Not only is it a backup artificial horizon, turn coordinator, but I can scroll through, wrong one, I can scroll through some different pages. I can get the CDI up on here. I've got another HSI, a map, bonus data that I can pull through from the MFD. So if I want to have different data on here to what I'm actually seeing on the other screen, I can. It's got its own terrain page as well, and just a basic map. So there we are. So the cool thing is, if the PFD fails and then also the MFD fails, this instrument, this is such a solid backup for me to get things like my airspeeds, my altitude, my artificial horizon, but also mapping information, navigation information. There is so much redundancy now in this aircraft. To be honest, it's a little bit ridiculous. And then down the center console, this remains pretty much the same. So this is my comms unit. These are my radios where I can listen to different frequencies. I've got two VHF radios here. The GTN 650s remain the same. I've still got two units. They do exactly the same thing. So if one fails, I can fall back to the other one. And the Autopilot, now a few of you asked whether I'm going to update the Avidyne Autopilot to a Garmin Autopilot. The answer is obviously no. Now I'm not saying it's not something I'll do in the future, but to be honest, for me, I didn't need to update the Autopilot. That Avidyne Autopilot actually interfaces perfectly with the Garmin equipment with the new G500. So there was no requirement to upgrade that when it still gives me the same Autopilot functionality that I had before. The observant one's off. You may notice there is no Batman red stripe around the outside. There's also some big red writing over here. There will still be some cosmetic changes to the dash. I do want to get that red line in, and these stickers and the decals are just temporary. I honestly just didn't want to wait another couple of weeks just doing all the fancy pretty stuff on the dash. I wanted to get flying again. Before going flying, I need to update the databases, which I do using Garmin Pilot. That's YouTube. Using Garmin Pilot on my iPad wirelessly through this Flightstream 510 that I've got here in the GTN 650. While those databases are just updating, I want to answer a question which I've been asked quite a lot during this process, which is quite simply, how much? To answer that question, a quick update. I am very proud to say that I am now officially a Garmin ambassador. But all jokes aside, I've been a Garmin boy for a while and I'm really proud to be actually doing some work with them. And the reason why I tell you all this is because that kind of answers a bit about the question of how much. Now, Garmin have supplied some of the equipment to me. That includes the two G500 TXIs and that GI275 standby instrument as well. So if you are planning to do an upgrade like this as well, you obviously need to cover the cost of the equipment. Now, the cost of the labor to actually do the job, I've funded that all myself. I can't tell you how much exactly that's cost because I haven't got the final invoice yet, which is good. I might actually leave the country before that comes in. But I was quoted just under 200 labor hours to do the job. Now, you can work that out based at the rates you pay your maintenance team. It's not an insignificant upgrade, but I know that this equipment is going to last me for years to come. Now, to answer the question of why it took so long, it doesn't obviously have to take you the better part of about 4 to 5 months that it took me to do an upgrade like this. We were hamstrung by post-COVID stock issues. We couldn't get some of the equipment here in time, labor shortages. So there were periods of time when no work was being done. So that's why it's taken a long period of time. There were also two separate companies involved. Blue Demon didn't actually do most of the upgrade on this aircraft. They're responsible for the sort of the mechanical side of the aircraft, the engine, the airframe itself. The avionics was done by another company. And this is one of the first times that an aircraft like this has been upgraded with this equipment here in Australia. So whilst for me that's pretty awesome because I've got quite a unique aircraft now, it does mean there was a big learning curve on the project itself. So I think that's why the team took a bit longer than was expected to actually finish this piece of work. But finish this piece of work they have. Those databases are still updating, by the way. You know what I'm thinking? I don't actually need those databases to do a quick flight. You want to do a quick flight? Could I please get full tanks avgas on Echo Yankee Zulu?
Well, this will be interesting because just looking at the radar at the moment, there is a bit of a return out to the bay, kind of the direction that I was thinking of heading. This could be quite a short flight. I know I can get us up and get us round, but whether we can get down south, I'm not sure.
Echo Yankee Zulu, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, Echo Yankee Zulu. Okay, full power. Pressures are all good, temperatures are good. Airspeeds increasing on both instruments. Good rate of climb, flaps away. And 500 feet, caps is now available. Make a left turn, get rid of that. That little chime, that's a new one for me. That tells me I've got, I think it's 200 feet to my altitude that I put in, which is 1,500. That's really good. Come back on the power a little bit, and it's raining. There's that storm just out to the right-hand side at the moment, if you can see that off the wingtip. I think it's not going to affect us. I'm just going to keep coastal, to be honest, but it is coming this way, so I kind of want to be up and down. I don't want to be too long up here today.
Lift off the uniform tower, join downwind runway 35 left and clear the visual approach.
Downwind 35 left, clear visual approach, aircraft uniform.
Now we're airborne. Let me show you what happens here on the PFD and the MFD. You can see I've got the primary flight display set up now. You can see I really like this. This map comes over on my HSI. You see the flight plan that I put in. I'm not following that at the moment. I'm just making my way visually down the coast. But the flight plan appears here on the HSI. I really like this feature where you can zoom in and out as much as you want, and well, there's no other traffic around me at the moment, but traffic also appears on this. So this is a really good situational awareness tool. Kind of clear of the airport, I probably would take the engine page off. I don't know what I'd put on here. I'd probably actually put a big map, to be honest, and have something else on here. I might put traffic would be quite good, probably charts would be good, but to be honest, that's quite a nice setup, having all my airspeeds and flying information, traffic information here, and a big map on the other side, plus I've got my engine information. There's a lot of data there. I can make a heading change in a couple of ways. I can turn the little dial here on the right hand side. You can see the blue line moving across, but I can also tap on heading and press on the heading button, and I can type in a heading. So if I get a heading from air traffic control, maybe 220, I can just type that in here, press enter, and off we go. I'm kind of flying into the rain at the moment. Look at the rain on the windshield there. This might be a good point to turn around. Yeah, kind of straight ahead to the right hand side is where the rain is, and straight ahead to the right hand side is where I'm aiming at the moment, so I don't think I want to stay out there. I actually think, and I know that that's coming in this direction, so I actually think what I'm going to do is turn us around. Let me see as well if I can do a direct. I've got my flight plan, I've got Garmin there, and if I go activate, then that's given me the new direct to on the MFD there. It also appears on my little map HSI here. And if I go GPS steering, then I can see GPS steering up here, and the aircraft should now follow this path, which is out this window, as it seems to be doing, and I should be autopilot flying back to Karen. The autopilot appears to be talking to the screens without any issues, which is great. The only thing I could have done with this better weather, actually. And like I say, I did take Echo Yankee Zulu out for a flight with my instructor previously, so we did some more pretty thorough testing last week just to make sure everything was working as it should. Let me get tower, let me get the ATIS, and let's get us home to Moorabbin. No one else is out here today. I think the weather's put everyone off. It's nice to be flying again. Moorabbin Tower, Echo Yankee Zulu at Karen 1500 with Oscar inbound.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Moorabbin Tower, join final runway 35 left.
Final 35 left, Echo Yankee Zulu. So pre-landing checks, brakes, undercarriage down, look, mixture fuel pitch, pump goes on. Switches, speedo heat, everything is good. So just pitching for an airspeed of around 90 knots. Power, I'm just using power to determine how high I am, what my attitude above the runway is.
Echo Yankee Zulu, cleared to land.
Clear to land, Echo Yankee Zulu. But a little bit high, so I'm going to come back on the power a little bit. This is not a demonstration of how to land, by the way. This is just me, not having flown for a couple of months, talking through the process in my head. 500 feet, we've got second stage of flaps. That's looking really nice. Got about 84 knots. I want 80 really on final, so I'll just pitch up a tiny bit. Carry a little bit more speed just over these warehouses. Alright, down the runway. Eyes to the end of the runway. Let the nose wheel touch slowly. Don't need to brake too hard, we've got to go to the end anyway. Alright, I can fly. I can still fly.
Oh, I think I got back just in time.